chasing ambient authorities, Massive Frankfurt, and which I did for 3 years. Soon we took the space, we thought a good decoration, the show plan was done very well. This all took 1 year, and the show dates were declared as January 22, 1994. Just 1 month before the show, the whole complete game changed, which you can say is a game changer month. 1 month before, the buyer whom we had approached, and wherever we left the leaflet, air mail, through direct, through some exporter, through Indian embassy, whatever we did, and I started.
Welcome to today's episode of Leadership Unplugged, where we bring to you the voices, the very voices who have shaped the foundation of India's exhibition and events landscape. Today I am sitting with the true titan of the industry, Mr. Rakesh Kumar. I don't think he needs an introduction, but as the chairman of India Expo Center and Mart, he has been instrumental in transforming Greater Noida into a global exhibition hub. As a chief mentor of EPCH, the Export Promotion Council of Handicrafts, he has been instrumental in pivoting the role of handicrafts, Indian handicrafts, on a global level. And as a past president of the IEIA, the Indian Exhibition Industry Association, I think he has empowered and inspired a whole generation of professionals and industry leaders and taken the industry to the new levels that it was never seen before. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar, for being our guest today. It's truly an honor to be sitting beside you to conduct this podcast. I think you are one of those visionary gentlemen who I have looked up to personally in my journey. To begin with, I would like to understand from you 20, 30 years down the line, how do you see what brought you to the events and exhibition industry and what inspired you to really take on the challenge of this industry?
Raghav, thank you very much for organizing today's podcast. I had a very pleasant task that was given to me as the Executive Director of the Export Promotion Council for Handicraft way back in 1987. So, the moment I joined the sector, it was not an industry, it was basically a sector. That time, the biggest challenge for the sector was that I had only few exporters in the country, about 700, and there was exports of around 386 crore rupees from India to the entire globe. And that was a time when the country had almost more than 4 million craftspersons working in the entire country in the different clusters. Our biggest task was how to make the Indian handicraft sector a very important product, a requirement, and sellable product all over the world. Nobody knew these products as a handicraft. Only the craft lover used to appreciate the items, being the exquisite crafts, which was the really magic of the fingers of the Indian craftspersons. That time, we started visiting to the overseas. I was young at the age of around 27. So I had gone to UK first, then to the part of Germany, then Japan. And at the end of it, I realized in just 3 years that the biggest tool for promotion, the easiest way for promotion, and the quickest way for the promotion of Indian craft to the global market is the organizing of the trade fair. I can rather say not organizing of the trade fair, that was the first thought, was participation in the trade fair. So we took some people, some exporters, we started convincing them, and then started participation. Our very first participation, the group participation, was in Birmingham Fair. And this very first participation, you will imagine, was to the size of only 45 square meter, in which 9 exhibitors from India participated. That means about 5 square meter each exhibitor. So that was the participation. Likewise, just in 1 year span, we participated in Berlin show. There was a very good show known as Partner in Progress, Import Fair Berlin. And then some other shows in Europe. the response to our product was really overwhelming, because the buyers in those countries never met the Indian suppliers directly. Before that, Indian suppliers, Indian products used to go through the various third-party people whom we call the merchant exporter at that time, or the agents. And all these people had a very big opportunity with them to participate in the then major show, which I am referring without any prejudice, is the 𝗵𝗵𝗃 in Frankfurt. Only handful of the exporters from Ahmedabad and other places, the total numbering 34, were participating in that show. So these exporters, while going to these shows about a week or 10 days before, used to call the suppliers or other people to give the samples, put the code number. They never knew about the product, and just to carry, display there, get the use order, because show was hugely successful. 𝗵𝗵𝗃 was that time Mecca for handicraft for all our products, and then come back to India and distribute the orders after taking out their own profit margin, which was also quite big. So almost 3 times was the cost they used to put up. Now, this is the high time when we gave a thought that let us now bring our exhibitors to 𝗵𝗵𝗃. The moment we talked to the people in India, the supplier, they knew that their main channel partners, they are going to that fair and they may get the opportunity. Everybody was very keen. And I started chasing 𝗵𝗵𝗃 authorities, massive Frankfurt, and which I did for 3 years. Certainly because of the show was in demand like anything. The opportunity to the new supplier was not there. So by the year 1992 end, we had to take a decision that now persuasion is enough, there is no need. What to do? Let us keep our application there, because every time the answer was, what is new with you? Already we have sufficient 34 suppliers from India. So why you are going to bring here the more suppliers from India? What will be the value you will add? Then we thought of organizing, making an attempt to hold a trade show in India. So I very clearly remember early 1993, in the month of January, we took a decision together in one of the EPCH meeting that we'll hold a trade show in India, and its name will be Indian Handicraft Gift Fair. Because I had by the time realized that the handicraft will not sell just as a handicraft. It is being given more as a present, more as a gift. So adding gift word is very, very important for our sector. So we added the word gift along with the handicraft. The logo was decided, everything was decided, and we decided to hold the show the very first time, which Raghav, you will really believe it, at Convention Hall of the Ashoka Hotel.
Wow.
We booked Ashoka Hotel Convention Hall because our confidence was not much that we will go beyond that. We said, okay, this much area is enough, because whosoever we discussed, we had an advisory committee and all the 12, 15 members said, okay, this is, even if we are able to fill this hall, we'll say, okay, it's successful. Anyway, after the second or third meeting, by the month of February, March, we all discussed again, and we realized that no, the show should be held at an exhibition center and you know well that in India that time, the only exhibition center was there. That was Pragati Maidan.
Yeah.
And there was a very cooperative and very nice gentleman at Pragati, the then Pragati Maidan chairman, Mr. 𝗪𝗱𝗶𝗃𝗅𝗏. I've been to him, discussed with him. He agreed because that time in Pragati Maidan also only very few exhibitions used to be organized. So we took the hall number 18, which nobody used to organize the exhibition.
Yeah.
This was a very isolated hall in front of the Supreme Court. So that was the area. We took that hall because that hall was much cheaper than the other halls. It was a low, newly built hall. But we could see that in Pragati Maidan was not using it much. So, but I could make it out that how I have to plan it. Its parapet, its long walls, very large beams. That was eating the entire space. And that was also always have been the challenge for the exhibition organizer in that hall. That made them their show very challenging in terms of its ambience. Soon we took the space. We thought a good decoration. The show plan was done very well. This all took 1 year, and the show dates were declared as January 22, 1994. So the very first show of the IGF was organized in January 1994. This 1 year was challenging because I had that time gone again to another gentleman in Pragati Maidan. His name also I would not like to, I would like to rather mention it today. I don't want to leave his name. He is Mr. Dinesh Kumar. He was the then general manager there. So I had discussed with him. I said, how? So initially he laughed. He said, do you think you will organize a show in India for overseas buyer? And he repeatedly asked me 3 times, are you sure? I said, yes, sir. It is going to be only for overseas buyer and not for the public. He said, anyway, if you have that determination, then keep in mind, the only way of success of the show is if you are able to get at least 100 overseas buyer in the show. If these 100 overseas buyer will visit, your show will be successful. And then I took some tip from the gentleman that how these buyers can be invited. He gave me tips, which was more as a documented tips normally, but participation, exhibitions, and some advertisements, some all together, all over that. Now I tell you what exactly at that time was the situation. Comparing today with the communication, I think there is no comparison where we were. No mobile, no email, no fax at that time.
Yeah.
Except one teleprinter and phone where you have to book the trunk call. There used to be a name called trunk call for all international ISDs.
Yeah.
So you have to book a trunk call. So that was the communication way. So that means every time you have to write a letter, invite letter to overseas. Then the most important, no data. No data available because there are buyers, but no such directory, what you have today. No any Google or no any search. So you are absolutely just this thing, you have to write your embassies. They will also say, okay, yes, we'll also inform people and then others. But that time, we talked to many people and we started this activity on our way. And then in the month of August, September, there were some shows in Europe. I had gone there personally with some headwinds. And I stood outside the exhibition center. And whosoever buyer was coming with the badge card. And I could see that. So I tried to give him the leaflet, convince him. Some of them also said no. we don't want. There were some other language people like Spanish and others. So they said, no, sorry, we don't want. And some of them also laughed that, sorry, we are also exhibitor. We are not the visitor, we are not the buyer. Then had to go to all the exhibitors pavilion where people were selling the similar product. Then to each and every person had to give. But there it was a phenomenal response that the buyers started discussing, yes, you have a fair, you have a feria in India, you have a 𝗪ci. So whatever language was there, they started talking. And I could realize very first day when evening, I was having a really very happy day and a smiling face when I had collected 8 visiting cards where they had said, yes, we wish to come, send us more details. I wrote all the details. By the time, there were no number of exhibitors decided because this was the buyer front. On the exhibitor front, the canvas was completely black. The issue was that we had no much exhibitor. We were not able to either convince the people or they had no confidence on us. So we started organizing the road shows, which you call the road show today, but we called the meeting that time. I still remember my very first meeting for the show was in the basement of a very small hotel in Moradabad. That hotel still exists, Hotel Maharaja. And there, likewise in the other places, we had gone place to place, Jaipur and other places, invited exhibitors over a cup of tea through their association. People came, discussed, and then after that, some people, yes, no, likewise. So with a very great difficulty, we could had only 150 exhibitors in the show. The hall, 2/3 of the hall would be filled. And we were really very serious about the outcome because if the buyer comes, but on the buyer's front at the same time, the number was gradually increasing and we had reached to a number of around 50 buyers.
Okay.
I was keeping in mind 100, 100, 100. Then just 1 month before the show, the whole complete game changed, which you can say is a game changer month. 1 month before, the buyer whom we had approached, and wherever we left the leaflet, through airmail, through direct, through some exporter, through Indian Embassy, whatever we did, they started approaching their suppliers in India. That means the exhibitors.
Yeah.
Saying that, is there any, I understand there's a feria in India on so-and-so date. Are you there? So these people were not even our members. They were big suppliers, big buyers also, big exhibitors also. They were big exporters. Or they were not taking us seriously. Our phone started ringing. And every day we started getting 10 to 15 new exhibitors. 15 days before the show, the entire ground floor was booked. The moment people came to know that some show is happening, then some more people came. And then the upper floor of the hall 18 became full. So this is always a buyer impact on the exhibitor. Because when we were talking to them, we were trying to convince them. They were not convinced. The moment buyers started asking them, is there any fair? Is there any 𝗪ci? All these suppliers, with a threat perspective, that if they are not in the fair,
yeah,
they will lose the business. So all these fundamentals still exist in today's business,
Absolutely.
in today's exhibition. And this fundamental will again continue till the physical fair will end. What I mean to just prove here, buyer is very, very important for a fair.
Yeah.
The exhibitor is equally important for the buyer. And for exhibition organizer, these two are the only element which will make them successful.
Yeah.
On a day before concluding of the show, we could see we crossed the number of 220 overseas buyer in the very first show. And this information was like a wildfire everywhere in this sector. And we never knew the people started coming from all over that we wish to enter. And we made a point that we will not allow anybody other than the exhibitor and the buyer in the fair. So IIGF, Indian Handicraft Gift Fair, was the only show in 𝗪𝗏 Maidan all those years till 2006 we were there, that never allowed any public, no retail sale, and nobody other than the registered buyer. So all these people, with great difficulty, they could come, they could approach us, they started giving. So all this. I'll tell you that down the line, from 94 to 2006, we were there at 𝗪𝗏 Maidan. And the EPCH membership grew by 10 times. Then we had 7,800 members, which today we have more than 11,000. Today the handicraft exports is around 35,000 crore, which was 320 crore at that time, and 286 in 1996. So this number was doubled. There was a phenomenal growth in the exporters sector and the product. We also started studying the trends and invited the lot of overseas experts, and we started changing the shape of the industry. Because by the time I had realized that the handicraft is not the product to be sold as a handicraft. How our buyers are selling, that has to be ultimately to be taught to all our exporters. So we told them that how the stores sell, what are the department in the store. There are not handicraft department. The department like home, lifestyle, fashion, furniture, gift, floor covering, wall decor, sports, kids, pet. So like these are the departments. So you have to make all these items which you otherwise manufacture in absolutely in this type. So that's changed the entire shape of the industry. And today, if you see, the same industry is producing the products for Walmart, TJ Maxx, Target. So all these big stores, they are, or big box retailer, they are producing. And they are producing absolutely to that scale. Point to the Expo Mart is, from 1994 to 2000, we were working again and again. Started from hall 18, just one hall. And by 2003, we covered the entire 𝗪𝗏 Maidan. They had 16 exhibition halls, all 16 halls we covered. But by 1998-99, we had realized that the 𝗪𝗏 Maidan, the then 𝗪𝗏 Maidan, not today's Bharat Mandapam. Today's Bharat Mandapam is certainly to the international standard. So the then 𝗪𝗏 Maidan, the structure was built differently. It was more like a mela, because the year Asia 2072 time it was built. So all the halls were different, and there was state pavilion. So at the time of winter, you had a problem. There's a rain, there was a problem. AC issues of some kind of a hygiene and others. So that time we realized that we should have our own venue. Since I was traveling a lot to US and other country, and I realized that there should be something, not only the exhibition center, but there should be something mix of Expo Mart and exhibition center. Mart means the permanent area where all our players will be present there, particularly the outstation exporters who cannot afford a showroom in Delhi. Most of the buyers used to come to Delhi, or they are coming for hopping flight, going to other countries, staying here for 2 days, working with agents, or otherwise also they can come and they can place order. Outstation exporters have to come and then show their product, staying in hotel and then bringing all the samples was difficult. So that was the pain point. We addressed that pain point through the permanent structure of the Mart area. But at the same time, every year there'll be new adepts. So new generation will come.
Yeah.
Fresh blood will also be infused in the sector. For that infusion of the fresh blood, and also the old player, if they wish to expand themselves, so there's going to be some kind of diversification in their businesses and their products, then the exhibition center is also required. So both have to be parallelly built. So this was done together. I'm also happy to share with you that center was built not with the government money. It was built with the money of the small exporters who are 1250 shareholders of the handicraft sector and the other sectors. Government had given a lot of handholding and some support, like some support through a side and some other supports. But really, the government is also proud to say that. I've also seen that. I'm very thankful to 𝗟𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 𝗪, Commerce Minister, who on many platforms specifically mentioned that there are exhibition centers set up by the government run on the losses. But I'm very delighted when I come here at the Expo Mart, I find Expo Mart, Expo Center is set up without government money and is also run on the profits. That is true. So first of all, we tried that there should be a kind of a ownership in this complex. Ownership of whom? Ownership of all the handicraft players, all the mart owners, all employees, and everyone who is associated with this. Because this IEML structure is such, it is not owned by any individual. All stakeholders are small. They are 1% or 2% kind of a stakeholder in the company, or even less than that. Or some of them are even minuscule to the scale of only 0.012% like that. So in that case, employees are owners, because every employee, even the lowest cadre employee, who is a helper, he is also having ESOP. He is also given the employee stocks. So everyone from that to the chairman is also covered under ESOP. So that is ownership. So he owns the company. He owns the company to that portion. And that's why he works for the company. For him, it's important that if there's a small thing where I can contribute, so everybody contributes to that affair. And I'm very happy that I've been able to at least build that spirit among us, each one of them. This has brought now the IEML absolutely to a different ball game. Today, we are not only the venue. Today we are working on 5 different verticals which are all interconnected. The one vertical which is basically from its foundation, from its mandate, that is the venue. The second vertical is we also organize our own shows. We do today 11 shows of our own. That is the second vertical. The third vertical is we have all the Expo Marts. So all these products also needs kind of a marketing and handholding in the marketing. So for them, we have warehouses in USA, warehouses in Europe, in Holland, other places. And also showrooms, B2B showrooms in the USA and also in Europe. 3 places in Europe. Complete platform in the name of the Expo Bazaar. So that is another vertical of ours. We are also into the strong way the hospitality. By way of having our own 5-star hotel. And the most important, that is also run and operated by self. It is not given to a third brand, either to operators or a brand or someone else. No. Because we are having a human resources, which is the asset of the company. So that is also over there. So likewise, we are in a way having all these different verticals, and all these verticals are growing in a big way. And I'm quite sure that IEML in together is now achieving its objective for which it was set up. It's comfortable with the financial position. 2006, when we came into being here in operation, since then, every year we have added something new in the entire complex. We added, first of all, some additional halls, then we added a hotel, then we added the other places. So every time we are adding something to the infrastructure. The latest is that by next year, you will find here 25,000 square meter additional covered space within the complex, as well as a completely new convention part of the Expo Center. And this convention part is going to be on the 2nd floor, where we had hall number 2 and 4 and also banquet and other areas. So this convention part will also be part of the entire new our developments.
New plans. Okay.
So I'm quite sure that this will work well, and in the years to come, Expo Mart will further grow with the same speed as in the past.
I think rest they say is history, because it started with a small step, and how it has evolved. It has been an eye-opener for me today, learning so many facets. How small significant contributions became so meaningful by you, Mr. Kumar, and how this small steps that you took, like visiting trade shows, doing marketing for the handicraft sector, resulted in a whole new show for the industry. And today, IEGF Fair is amongst the biggest shows held in India, and we are so very proud of the show because it brings the foreign nationals to the Indian market, and the Indian handicraft sector gets a push like none other. That's why it was honored recently at the Exhibition Excellence Awards, also at the biggest show of the year. And even India Expo Mart was honored at Exhibition Excellence Awards. Mr. Kumar, and keep taking the small steps, because hard work never goes waste. Pay attention to the buyers, pay attention to the exhibitors, and the show will be a success. Thank you so much, Mr. Kumar.